I have had the best time making the Parkour Civilization story, and I actually don't think I've gotten so into a story before. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna talk about a ton of things about the series and the lore and stuff, and maybe a couple Easter eggs that you may or may not have noticed that I intentionally put in the series. So, if somehow you are watching this video with no knowledge of Parkour Civilization. Spoilers going forward. I'm going to be talking about most of the things that happened in Season 1. And yeah, no Season 2. So just Season 1 stuff. All right, let's get into it. Okay, one thing I really want to reveal is, if you will, a little Easter egg involving the beds throughout the series. So aside from the houses on the bottom level, the wood ones, which I have a couple reasons as to why those beds are red, but other than those ones, you might have noticed every single house that I bought with parkour, of course, I have a green bed, and there's really not an explanation behind why or how that's possible. But I like doing that because it just gives a little unique Evbo effect. You know, gotta go with the green, of course. But also it serves as a little hint that beds could have some meaning to them. So with that being said, when I find the old man and he's got his bed downstairs, you know, he's hiding out in the wall, his bed has a nice little blue shade. And you know, what do we know about the old man? Of course, he was the parkour champion with the diamond boots. So I intentionally did this because I wanted to make a little, you know, sneaky little foreshadowing event that implied that the old man had something going on with him, being that he was the old parkour champion. So that was one little fun thing going on throughout the series. All right, so this is another random thing I included. In the part where I go into the secret room and I look at the map, the quote-unquote map, if you will, of Parkour Civilization, this little structure here in this room is actually the very first thing I built when I was coming up with an idea for a new series. I remember showing Siwat and other people just this little thing, and I was like, trust guys, this will be actually crazy. And in hindsight, it is. It's so insane that this entire series pretty much started from this little sketch of the world. So I thought this was a cool little addition to make. I mean, obviously people would have no clue what this means. So I guess I'm just revealing that now. Okay, so those are the main building design choices things, if you will. Now let's move on to a couple lore and story things. So there is a lot more to the overall story that I like thinking about that doesn't exactly have a place in the main videos. So one, because the story is from my point of view, so it wouldn't really make sense to know a lot about the background stuff that goes on. And two, because I just don't feel like it has a place in the story. You know, I like to leave it up to interpretation to the viewers and stuff like that. But anyways, it's more lore, so who doesn't like that, you know? So after I ranked up to become a master, there's a scene where I'm jumping on, you know, my super stealth mission. And down below, you get a slight glimpse of the parkour arena. And I also show the same thing later when I'm climbing back up to the top. But in both scenes, the course I built to practice on when I was there and I was trying to rank up is still there. And what I think happens down at this pro level is that after I rank up or quote unquote disappear in the eyes of all the other people on that level, at this level, there are rumors that are circulating around the pros. You know, people have heard that I possibly ranked up. So all the pros that were left on this level assumed that this was the practice course that helped me rank up. So naturally, they would want to train on the same course, so no one took it down. So I intentionally kept that in. I intentionally kept that there because that's what I thought the story would have went like if you were to see what was happening in the background. So, you know, maybe a nice little lore addition to the background world. Okay, here's one more thing. Going back to episode 1, where I'm explaining how it's illegal to place blocks or break blocks, etc., and at least as a noob, and I'm kind of showing the scene where I find this wood that I assume was left over from a tree from the world before Parkour Civilization. So I was kind of thinking that at that point, I assumed there was a world that was regular and that didn't look like Parkour Civilization now. But in hindsight, that's not necessarily true, because what we figure out later is that that assumption was going off the memory I had, the fake memory, that is kind of what's giving me this sense of, oh, Parkour Civilization used to look like a regular world, but that's not necessarily true here. So you all don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe it will be revealed later, how Parkour Civilization started from the very, very beginning. So was there a world before? Maybe not necessarily, but as of now, there's no real evidence that supports that trees or things like that existed in Parkour Civilization before. That was just kind of my interpretation as a noob who's been living in this false reality sort of deal. So I thought that was kind of a cool little addition to point out. All right, so those are the main things I wanted to talk about because I wanted to post random stuff on this channel, and yeah, I feel like this is the place where I can just talk about anything I want. So this is all I got for today. I will see you later.